Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 6th. It's 9:30 a.m. This is a Council on Aging board meeting. This is being audio and video recorded. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? Great. Good. Great. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 9:30. Open time for the public. No public is in attendance. Approval of May minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Okay, so moved. Second? Second. Any discussion?
I'm in. I finished them.
Okay. Any discussion?
I was just on the list.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. Thank you. Josie, update from the Friends.
Okay. First of all, 2 people have resigned from the monthly Friends meetings. I guess that's not really the board, but the ones who go every month to provide input, whatever. One was Vicky. I don't know the other person.
Dottie.
No, Louise. Louise.
Oh, Louise Rowan. I'm
okay.
sorry. Here I didn't.
And but both of them plan to continue working with on lunches and stuff like that.
And as members of Friends.
As members, right? Hey, welcome.
We're being recorded, so just.
So I just started with the Friends update.
Four. Yeah.
So the treasurer's report. Hey.
Bring a chair up, Brittany. You can. Since you're the liaison.
There's a spot right next to Josie.
Here we go. So, for the treasurer's report for the Friends, their starting balance was $5,939.63.
Oh, did you give her an agenda? I did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
With a closing balance of $8,246.41. However, $2,500 of that is being held for upcoming trips. Deposits have already been so the actual bottom line is $5,746.41. Actually, here, why don't I just give this to Lori?
Oh, that's great, thank you.
Now, Francine, who's the treasurer, pointed out that although the luncheons seem to be doing well, they brought in, the May luncheon brought in $1,108. The total cost, the costs were $773.68. And then when you add to that the entertainment cost of $490, they actually lost $155.68.
That particular, they had a $50 entertainment, but some of the previous entertainments were a couple $100, so.
Thank you for that clarification. So we'd previously discussed the increasing of the cost of the luncheons, which will go up by $2 in September, is that right? And limit entertainment to just major holidays and major occasions, we'll say. Excuse me, and I didn't even bring any water today.
Do you want me to get you one? I can.
Oh, thank you.
Would you, anybody else? I can
No,
get
no,
one.
no, I'm fine, thank you.
The Nagi trip, that's one that was going to, scheduled to go to Naugatuck and visit a train museum type thing. That was canceled. I think probably more because East Hampton didn't come up with all the numbers.
Yes, they came through with, I think, 2 or 3 people. So it was up to us to
Yes.
get the
We had like
number.
high 20s or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we were doing pretty good, but
Yeah, we were 8 or 9 people short.
Was there only one bus? The only one.
And you had to have, I think it was 40?
Yeah.
so anyway, but the others, all the other trips that are planned so far, it looked like they're all good to go. Now they're somewhere, I guess, over 60, approximately maybe even up to 65 more and counting. People signed up for the June 11th picnic at Conant Park. That's the barbecue. Again, the entertainment is costing more, so they're not making any money. Right now, the cost is projected to be $1,350, and tickets sold are approximately $750. Again, another reason why we're increasing our prices down the road. Thank you, thank you.
I'll share my coffee.
That's okay. Water will do. Thanks, Joan. So the last time I mentioned that they're doing Friends of Southampton Council of Aging t-shirts. Those are ready and they will be for sale at the barbecue. For $10, which is very reasonable for t-shirts. The cost was $7.25 each. There have been 2 donated gift baskets, and those will be raffled off at the barbecue, as well as a small child's tricycle. What has also been donated, so any money that comes in from them is just goes to the bottom line. There was some discussion about the May luncheon and what to do differently next year. There's discussion and I guess plan to change caterers. People weren't too happy with the menu that time. Joan, I believe, suggested that we make it a Mother's Day theme and make it more people that way. Is that correct? Any other?
Was the May luncheon a special luncheon? Because was...
They have it. They all have one every month from September.
Yeah, but the
It was
expenses seemed high, and so that...
Well, it was ham and scalloped potato for 30 people. So I think because we had less people, we had less money. I don't know the whole catering background, but we only had 30 people where we usually have 50 people.
Yeah.
So we lost all that.
And that came from Pure Food.
Plus it was it $10, not 12 at the time, so it was $10, so that makes a difference.
So it's going up to 14 now?
12. It'll go up to
Oh, I like 20.
12
Like it'll go there though.
12 September and October, and I think November, December 15.
And let's see. We're using Hamel's caterer for the volunteer luncheon. I have that
No,
right?
we're not.
Oh, we're not?
Hamels is, catering is used for the, and I'll talk about that, that's not
Okay.
really Friends. That's,
Scratch that.
Hamels is for the barbecue.
Okay. The tag sale made $863.91 after expenses. So that was pretty good. And there's no meeting for July. So the next meeting is August 1st at 10:30. Question?
Did you mention the vote to transfer funds?
I'm going to do that. Next.
Okay, that's right. Okay. All right. Thank you for the report, Josie.
And thank you for the handout. It makes it so much easier when I have something to refer to when I'm doing minutes. Because sometimes the recorder gets gobbled, and I'm back and forth, trying to dissect what's being said.
Well, I can't guarantee it every month, but
I want it every month.
Okay. Update director's report.
Okay, so things, we had a good month. We ended up getting new business cards, and all three of us have them now. Obviously, this has a lengthy list of what's happened and what's going on, and I guess I want to touch on a couple things. I was very pleased with the outreach that we were able to do this month. We took a visit on the day they were setting up for the tag sale. Darlene and I both went over to Southampton Meadows and met with about 7 people, plus the manager. I'm not sure what his title is. His name is David Fairley. I think he's trying to get activities and things for the residents. The thing with Southampton Meadows is it's not just seniors, it's disabled, and they're under 60. So the Council on Aging's mission is to help those that are over 60. So I'm not sure, and we do have our select person here, about the Commission on Disabilities in this town. I know it's a small town. I know it's another commission that needs members and needs activity, and I told them maybe they could even get it going and have it posted there, because transportation is one of their biggest deals, and we have transportation for 60 and over, but not for disabled. And there's a strange thing about, and I don't want to take a lot of time because it is not for the seniors, but they have to go to Big Y to get a bus. They can't. It won't come to Southampton Meadows.
where is Southampton Meadows?
It's right behind Cumberland Farms.
Oh, okay.
Little road. So, what kind of bus? Who provides that?
Well,
bus?
I'm not sure if it's PVTA.
Yeah.
Or if it's
I've
just
seen PVTA there, but I didn't know.
They have to apply for PVTA, they have to apply for a disability. They go to Springfield to get their disability, in writing, and then but they can only go to public places, they can't go to residents. And I don't understand, Southampton is different than other cities, and I don't know why. But it seems a little odd, if you're already disabled and you're a wheelchair, that you have to get to another place to get picked up.
Right.
But anyway, that's another whole other topic, meeting, committee. We rescheduled our sip and paint for the 25th of June. We have 7 people, we need 10. So if anybody likes to paint and sip, you have 2? Wonderful. So now we're up to 9. We only need 1 more. Tremendous.
I like to sip. Painting, it's optional.
It's optional. Well, it'll be lovely. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a little early, but not too early. So it's 5 o'clock somewhere. We're limited to 1.
It's on the 25th of June.
Yes. And just so to back up, count you in? There we go. We got our 10. I knew that's the reason I announced it here.
Last night you got your approval.
Yeah. So a couple things happened, and maybe I mentioned the last meeting, I had to go for the certification for bartender. It's not a big deal. The librarian has it. They make you go through this thing on the computer that says you're responsible bartender, that you won't give it to somebody who's intoxicated, and etc. It's some guidelines. It's a sip and paint. We may have 1 glass of wine and paint. It's not, a heyday. So anyway, I'm not overly concerned about it. The library's done it, so I'm glad to try it.
What time is that?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is it at the senior center?
In the senior center. So I also had to get a permit from the town to have it, so, and that's in process. In fact, it may have come up at last night's meeting.
It did.
It was approved last night.
And it was approved. There you go. Thank you. All right, so the other outreach that was done was on the back side. That was good old Darlene. Her background is in the VA, and we tried to, a gentleman came in, and I won't, I know confidentiality, et cetera, but I just want to give you the scenario. His wife has Alzheimer's, he's home with her. His doctor recommends he gets out 3 days a week. So she needs a companion to stay with her so that he can get out and go to the gym or go shopping or do something to get away from it. Because as we all know, that Alzheimer's spouses are the ones that pay the toll because it's a 24/7 kind of a thing. So anyway, we called Visiting Angels, which is an agency, and there's quite a few agencies. They wanted $144, 3 days a week, 2 hours a day, for $144 for 6 hours of care, which is incredible.
It's not unusual.
It's incredible. So anyway, she looked at the list that Flo provides, the service list, and there was a companion. Thank you. Oh, this is the... So she was able to, she looked at the list, she knew a person who was on the list who had nursing background, although this does not require nursing background, but it's probably helpful, and was able to connect with her. They went to the person's house. She went with this person to the person's house. Everybody met. They worked out a schedule, and she said she'd do it for free, but they think, she was down for maybe $15 an hour. I think she put it down to $10. So for a matter of $60 instead of $140, he's going to get the care his wife needs and the care he needs to get out of the house. So I was, very thankful for Darlene's work, especially going above and beyond and even going to the person's home to make sure that it worked. So I would...
That's great.
That's wonderful. Do you, the Alzheimer's Association also has...
And that's what they told... I called Highland Valley, and they told me to call the Alzheimer's Association, and so I did. And they said that they couldn't talk to me directly to give the number to the gentleman. They had them set it up with him. And so, anyway, meanwhile, this other in-town person was able to cover. But you're right, the Alzheimer's Association will do it. There's an 800 number for 24/7, and I did, that was one of the referrals if this didn't work out. But thank you. Anyway, the last thing that's on the list that was kind of, and we're going to talk about it with the Treasurer's report, is the FRIDA conference on Monday with Ed and Vicki, Josie, and myself, and on the other end, Tina and Michael from FRIDA. And we knew it was coming. We talked about it, 4 months ago, that the account is what it is. There's no extras. There's no overage to help us out. So we have made a decision to cancel Fridays. Most of the Fridays we're taking one of our residents in Southampton, bringing him to the East Hampton Senior Center because they're open and we're not. So I can't really say that, that's a good use of our funds. So we're canceling the next 4 Fridays. Hank does have work in East Hampton. They needed him anyway, so that worked out for him. There was one lady we had to let her know. I think she's going to work something out with her daughter. But I think that's a good start. And then the second one, and when we get into the Treasurer's report, Josie will address what we did, what the suggestion was. But I think we're going to be okay. We're still waiting for numbers from Vicki on specifics. We got the amount of how much gas we spent. It's been about $200 up a month in gas.
Higher than it was, yeah.
Higher than it was.
It's going up.
Yeah, and it continues.
And plus and we're doing a lot more trips to Springfield. In fact, he's going to Springfield 3 times today.
Oh my goodness.
But he can bring somebody back when he's picking somebody up, so they'll be doubling. But yeah, he has 3 trips to Springfield today.
Now, what happened with, I thought when Tina came with Marissa, that they had suggested trying to, I mean, it's
Combine
difficult,
people.
yeah, that to, rather, because Richard has, you know, he goes to Springfield, comes to Cooley, then he goes back to Springfield, and sometimes, you know, that in itself eats up, I mean, they're medical, because those
The problem is, we don't make the medical appointments. The individuals make the medical appointments.
Right.
So we can't say, your slot is from 10 to 11.
Right. But in terms of the availability, the driver being,
Right.
you know, being able to fit that in.
Yeah, well, again, it's all timing. He's starting some of his
And
days at
traffic,
7,
too.
7:30 in the morning, and he's okay with that. I don't know if, on the side, you know, he's getting married this weekend. He's also been, he also has a medical issue that he'll be off tomorrow, so he's off for the next 4 days. And there's a shower for him, a man shower today at 2:30.
Yeah, and on that note, Healthy Bones has like 6 people coming.
Oh, wonderful.
They what?
6
Healthy
people
Bones.
coming for the
They're on the
shower.
list, coming.
Oh, right.
It's after bingo. People will be there for bingo, and we're just going to give him a couple cards and celebrate his wedding.
That's nice. That's
So,
nice.
he's a good guy, and we're happy to do that. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me. I know this is what Darlene just came and passed to me, is the instructions for the RFP. We talked about doing the Go for Life Family Fun Walk. Oh, you got it.
Well, this is the RFP, this is just a summary of it, yeah.
Okay, so that was suggested, we already got a grant from MCOA for the walking club for $600. This is an additional $300 to be one of the sites or sponsors for the Go for Life Family Walk, Fun Walk.
In
So-
September.
In September, so that, I'm addressing that, the deadline is next week.
Okay, good.
So does that require a donation or people walking?
I have not looked into it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's hot off the presses here.
It is hot off the press.
Did we get the contract for FRTA?
For next year?
Yeah. Have they, that's not part of the purpose of them saying what's it gonna be, what they're thinking is.
We know they're
FY19.
raising the cost. You mean, are we getting the same $30,000? I assumed we
That was
were, but
what I understood.
From your conference call?
I think so, but I don't.
We're not getting any
honestly
more.
know. We're not getting any more. Right.
but we are, they will continue with us, unless there's a process that I'm not aware of. Are we supposed
no,
to
usually-
apply for it?
No, it
It's
just comes.
Okay.
I mean, you don't really have a chance to discuss it. They just
It
send
is
it,
what
then
it
you
is.
discuss it after you get it, because, but.
And it may go to Ed too, because
As
he's
our
the
liaison.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that there's still an issue with the year to ending for this, for the contract, because I thought at the last, one of the meetings, there was some assurances that based on the billing, that there was not going to be an overage, that we might be okay.
Well, I'll talk about that. Okay.
Plus, I think that was based on kind of your feedback, Nilda, that the reason there were costs in the first half of the year that wouldn't be affected in the second
Right,
half of
right,
the year.
yeah.
That was the only, that you were giving us insurances more than
Right,
anything,
right.
so, but apparently, I mean, we have to look at the fact that Richard got a raise this year, so he's making close to $3,000 more that comes from somewhere, so there's factors that, we just have to, and more trips, and so I guess, and with gas going up, it's going to be close. It's not going to be what it was, but we're going to be probably short a little bit, but we have a good strategy, I think, is what we need to have done. So unfortunately, our wishful thinking. And I think we're going to meet quarterly, make sure we meet at least quarterly with Vicki, throughout next year too.
Oh, and if you notice Flo's report, the volunteer luncheon is the 22nd, so Those of you who have not replied, please let us know if you're coming so we know who.
Oh, I'm totally one of those people.
You're coming?
I'm one of the people who hasn't replied.
Are you thinking about it? It's the 22nd, it's a Friday at noon, so you
Yeah.
look at your schedule.
I'll email.
I have 2 meetings.
Okay, that same
Starting
day?
9:30 to 1:45, but I'm gonna see what I can do. So you can pencil me in and
All
I'll
right,
let you know.
possibility. And the caterer for that one is called Partners. They're out of
yeah.
West Springfield and Agawam. So I'm sure that the amount was substantially less, and the food is good. I've eaten there, so
So you can vouch for that.
I can vouch for the food.
Okay, great. Joan, do you have a copy of
Close?
Yes. It's in the
Didn't I
packet.
pass it out?
It's
Right here. It's on the back
It's on the
side.
back.
No, that's what this...
Oh, that's for last?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
for April.
It's on
Okay,
the
okay.
pink sheet. This is it.
No, that's
No,
mine.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Close, I'm
Don't
sorry.
listen to these people.
I got you, Lori.
Ignore the people behind the curtain. Okay, director's report. Treasurer's report.
Oh, up
Do you have
again. Okay.
copies for
No.
us?
Oh, I have copies of this.
Thank you.
So, so as Joan mentioned, she and I and Vicki and Ed had a conference call with Tina and somebody else.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. Marissa no longer works there. I don't know what happened, but she no longer works
I
there.
had a feeling because I had sent her an email on a separate issue, it had nothing to do with land reservations, and I never got a response, so I just thought
I'm not
something.
sure how
And
long.
Tina seems to be more involved.
There's another woman too named Lori. Okay.
So we talked to them on Monday, was it Monday? To discuss our options and where we are. And I don't actually find them very forthcoming with
They won't be.
information. But Vicki had an opportunity to ask some questions.
Do you need that?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Oops, sorry.
Because I think there were certain things about the tracking that she hadn't fully understood, but got clarified. And so there's still some issues, but one of the, okay, so as of the 30th, of April, she was able to give us what our balance was. So
This is
what our...
Vicki?
Vicki.
Okay.
So what the balance was from the accountant's report was, we're really in the hole. It was very negative. But when she kind of re-looked at that after the discussion, she found that we had $3,820 as a balance. That was available for May and June.
Okay.
Now, that's still not enough to
Right,
get us
for the 2
through,
months.
but it's a whole lot better than a negative 7,000 plus. So the issue is that, or the challenge that I found, and now I came in knowing nothing about these contracts and stuff, but you know, we're told we have $30,000, but you can't manage to a $30,000 budget because of all the unknowables, such
Administrative
as
expenses.
the administrative expenses, which includes Vicki's time, the treasurer's time, and then you've got the,
That's a percentage.
well, yeah, but I didn't know.
Still
this.
about $10
We didn't
a week
know
or
this.
something like that.
Yeah.
So we weren't considering that when we're trying to manage. The gas,
Yeah, that's
the
fluctuation.
maintenance, the pay raises, the, benefits that they have, that was all behind the scenes that we had no knowledge of, I guess, except, the gas. But
We get a report
it's-
from Richard once a month, at the end of
It's-
the month.
From our perspective, and hey,
Wrong one, I think it's in the select board.
But thank you for visiting.
nice to see you.
It's the department head meeting,
Yeah.
because of the select board meeting last night.
Okay, what did you say?
The unknown,
Yes.
Right,
Charges.
so it's really like it's a moving target, and Ed agreed with this. I mean, realize, it really is, because on any of the reports that I have seen up to, or that we were working with, and the accountant's report, there's nowhere that says $30,000 as a budget. So I'm beginning to learn. Joan probably knows more than me, I'm sure. But anyway, we do have a strategy. Now, Vicki is going to give us an up-to-date for the end of May.
I believe I spoke to her this morning,
Oh.
just so you know.
Okay.
You get a chance to talk to me beforehand. She said we have about $1,340
Okay.
in the budget for June. So with the cuts that we're making and the other options that we discussed, we should be okay.
Good. Okay, good. So, as Joan had mentioned, we're canceling the Fridays, pretty much. Unless there's some medical or
If there was,
something like
well,
that.
even if there was an emergency, I mean, we have other options, we have other transportation people. So, for the most part, because once we put somebody on, we have to pay them for an hour or two because it's the time before the trip and the time after the trip, so.
I mean, really based on what we have for the month, we really can't function on Fridays.
Okay, well, that works.
What savings will that bring, do you know?
It's, you had to figure it out. didn't you?
Well, yeah, the wages are about $400, the wages. And then I don't know about the gas, I'd have to figure that out.
And gas going up, yeah.
Yeah. So that should help greatly.
We're about at least $2,000 a month for the program. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
she
the
said
ballpark.
that, Vicki said about 2,500. So
Even higher.
yeah, now it's gotten up to 25 with the gasoline and, well, probably with the salary increase this year, so, for Richard, so.
And I did say, and Vicki also said that we would forego our administrative costs for the month if we had to.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Right.
like $50. I mean, it's not gonna make
For
or break.
hers and mine. Mine isn't higher,
Okay.
mine's like 80.
It was about 150 a month, so they were splitting 75 each, rather than trying to keep, this is the way it was, to make it easy, because when you really look at the job, you can define each person coming in and working the hours to a predictable schedule, because it depends on who's calling and when you need to focus. So they just said, let's split it in half. This was how
Are you
it was
talking
done
between
before.
Frida and Southampton, or
No,
splitting it in
the
half?
two staff
The
people.
accountant
Because she told me it's $50. Or
was 44 or something. for the
44,
month.
okay.
Oh,
But then
maybe
for
they
the-
did they cut the administrative monthly, because it is in the contract.
No, it's there.
Is that a paid period, 50, or a month?
No, it's a month, it's
Yeah,
150
she just
a
told me,
month.
yeah, no, she,
Well, they were taking maybe 50 and I was getting 100 or
Okay,
80,
okay.
whatever. I mean, whatever.
okay, whatever.
So there's
All
a
right.
portion of the
You can explain that to me later.
contract for the van that includes administrative
Right,
fees.
which would
and
be-
Vicki assumes that role.
Right, and so Vicki and the treasurer,
so
they
does
have to
Jen.
fill out.
Day.
And Jen Day, yeah. They have to fill out forms monthly. I have to do a report monthly. And plus the phone calls, I mean, technically, Darlene, Flo, whoever's in the office is doing that. But there's, 10, 20, 30 minutes a day, we don't know. We're
It's
we're
hard to
allowing
get
for
here.
maybe 30 minutes a day.
And moving into next year with Joan being funded for 26 hours from the town, thank you to the override, we don't have to we probably really don't have to pull, those hours will be covered.
On Frida.
That you put on Frida, so we don't have to take more money out of the Frida fund to pay
Right.
for your time that you put into.
Right, because
We're
I'm
gonna
putting
pay
in
for
the
your
time anyway at the senior center, but
Yeah,
it didn't.
downstairs,
make up.
downstairs,
So that's-
downstairs.
Sorry, Tom.
Oh, that's-
Downstairs.
They're really gung-ho.
Yeah, they're, Ed must crack the whip, they're nervous being late.
And he missed
So-
in the hall.
Cut them off.
And the big, I think the big deal is that yesterday, the Friends has agreed to donate up to $1,000 for
Wages.
wages.
For overages.
That Vicky can use for wages for, whether it's
Frida
or whatever.
Yeah,
that
or-
she does what she does.
Town
So
wages, right.
I don't think we'll need that much speaking to her today, but it's,
Oh, good.
we very much appreciate. And then their comment was, that's why we're here, is to support the Council on Aging, so.
Right. So, you can actually, I do have on this bottom row, the amount needed for the remainder of FY18. You can really kind of ignore that, because that was, those numbers assume that there is absolutely no change in anything, no change in services, and we just kept going the way we were. But we're making the changes.
With Frida, you're talking about, right?
With, yeah, with Frida and then we're also going to transfer, in terms of the town wages, we're going to, because we're a little over there too, we are going to transfer $500 from the expense line to the wages line. So that should cover that we should be.
Should stay in budget.
Should be good.
Good. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
I just have a question. So the best, I mean, as we did it before, and you know, I'm sort of the old timer, I had recommended that this contract be monitored quarterly because that gives you a gauge in terms of the targeted number and you're able to address any kind of surprises.
Talking about Frida?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, does everybody now have that spreadsheet that is
That's
the
sent
one
out
that
from-
keeps, that indicates what the amount is that we're getting from Frida, so that that's what gets reduced from the expense?
It doesn't make
On the
any
month.
sense, but we do have one. Would you like a copy?
I'd love a copy.
Do you have a copy?
I haven't
That's
gotten
why
a
we're
recent
gonna-
one, but it's
this
the
is-
one that
Yeah, so we got it for the end of March, which is the last quarter.
that Vicky does, and then she does
Yeah.
have, when you say, it says it right here, 30,000, and then she is able
Oh,
to,
that's,
you know.
that's more up to date. I don't have that one.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Do you have extra, John? Thank you.
and as I mentioned earlier, Nilda, we're going to schedule quarterly meetings with Vicki once this comes out to review it, so everybody gets a full rounded education on the Frida.
And we have to learn to say no, and we have to learn to give them other alternative transportation.
Because if gas continues to go up, we're going to have to
All right.
manage closely to that. Again, it'll help that we have Joan fully funded, so we have funds freed up from there, from her administrative costs, so.
Plus, there's an increase in fares, 25 cents each way.
Right, okay.
So, and the escort is being charged. We don't have that many escorts, but the escort is at
That's of
75 cents.
July 1st.
As of July 1st, it'll be in the newsletter. It'll be on the van.
Any other discussion?
You're still making medical a priority.
Oh, yes.
I will say, what was her name, Tina, or somebody had said that the increase in the fares would help our budget, but the other thing is that they subtract it from our budget, so I don't understand how that's supposed to help.
But that money should be available. I still don't understand it either. We're collecting these fares, they should be available to us if it goes into that whole $30,000 pot.
I think
the
what we
wages.
spend, they subtract from it, and with those, so if we're subtracting more for what we collect, then it'll give us more money to get to 30,000.
How?
So if we
Where?
get $1,000 and we collect $100 in fees, then we've only charged the grant 900.
Exactly. It's an offset.
Where is that $100?
It just
Can
subtract-
we use it?
No, well, they only subtract the 900 instead of the 1,000.
Right, but that $100 should be available to us.
Yeah, well, it gets us to the 30, so if we
Right.
have, you know,
Then it gets
31,000.
turned over, don't you do it?
It gets turned over, but is it
To the
get turned
treasurer.
over, does it go to the Frida account? I don't know.
Yes, so it should reduce
Right, I
the
understand.
monthly
how-
cost by however much we collect. So if we didn't collect that money, we'd get the 30,000 way faster.
Exactly.
Because we wouldn't have any revenue to
Although, on
balance
this
it out.
report, the year-to-date numbers, and Vicki had mentioned this, let's look at the second quarter or the third quarter year-to-date, which is kind of right in the middle. That's how much they say we've used, but that's not the amount we're getting back from Frida.
I mean,
No, we never technically get it
We never
back, but
get
they
it
pay
back.
for the gas, they pay for the, I guess we attribute the wages, everything, we
it's
get that
reduced from
from
the
them.
30,000. And whatever we collect, you know, is a net balance per month. So I think the spreadsheet's very confusing, but I trust Vicki. She's been doing this and she really has a good understanding. We just need to make sure we meet with her quarterly and help that understanding. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Aye. So,
It does make me think about what we're gonna do this summer though, because I know last summer they went to Stanley Park and used the van. Maybe that's not an option this year.
yeah, we have to
But
look.
anything that's outside of the work week, that was on the weekends or after hours, you have to get approval from Frida. So
Yeah, well, they
they're not going to
did.
give you, yeah, they did in the
Yeah.
past, but now we may be looking at different budgets, so.
I'm not tempted to do it. I mean, I'm at least not weekly.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a special thing versus a weekly thing. Yeah. So, okay, anything new from Highland Valley?
Well, we're at the year end, and we're discussing next year. Of course, the numbers are still unknown from EOEA, and so we're very cautious in preparing the FY19 budget. And we're also having discussions around the annual meeting and what that's going to look like. And so, news, you know, it's evolving. It's still very sketchy. I've asked questions more. So, but they're talking about it. And, you know, the summer, it's just, we need a speaker and it gets quiet because people are on vacation and they're not even, and we do take the summer, with the exception of the finance, we do take 1 month off.
Okay. All right. Volunteer, we have the volunteer coordinators report already. Okay, great. So the bylaw change that we discussed last, and I sent out to everybody after our last meeting. The verbiage is, again, just to refresh everybody, and then we'll take a quick vote on it. We're changing our bylaw from what currently exists and under treasurer to the treasurer shall report to the council on financial matters. The yearly budget, monthly statements of expenditures, and all financial accounts of the Council on Aging shall be reviewed by the treasurer. So I just need a motion to accept this as a change to our bylaw.
I'll move.
Okay. Second?
Second, yeah.
Any other discussion? All in-
Now, in terms of those financial reporting, how does Ed come into that? Does that then get reviewed by him? Because doesn't he have
Yeah, I think
ultimate
that's why we have
responsibility?
him in the conference calls and yes, so I mean,
He's the Frida liaison, that's
Yeah.
why he was.
but he's also
Absolutely.
your supervisor,
Yeah.
so
He
I
signs
think
payroll.
we are still responsible for managing the budget. Joan is still responsible for managing. We're here to assist and
But she would go
advise.
first to him.
But she can,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
now has the, you know, the direct.
For signing, but it should be discussed, I mean, if it
But we'll
can,
discuss,
either before or
yeah,
after.
strategies and everything here, and then, you know, if there's any questions on finances, yes, Ed is involved. All Do we have second? All in
Yeah,
favor?
seconded,
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
So, John, I know it wasn't in your report, but just to touch base a little bit on some of your kind of goals for next year. What I think we want to do is make sure Joan's goals are communicated as well to the Friends so that we get agreement and we kind of work in parallel of what we're trying to accomplish.
So, as you can see, increased membership is one of my goals. We do have a database, we have a lot of people, but do people actually come? Of course, we had the paving for about 7 days, so we did have a lesser attendance, which is just natural. People don't want to get stuck here, you know. Although the Healthy Bones was able to come and go, but they didn't stay long. They came, they did their thing, and they left.
And how's the walking?
There's no
group?
alternate route.
The walking.
Back to
Go
work here.
east.
Yes.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, High
I used
Street
that for 10 or 15 minutes.
and Maple, yeah. But anyway, that's all behind us now, so.
And the walking
group is good.
Yeah.
The weather is, you know, obviously when the weather's bad, we don't have an alternative, which is part of the grant. If the weather's bad, we're supposed to find an indoor place to walk. I suppose we could walk through the town hall up and down the stairs. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. So if the weather's bad, we have.
The aisle's a big one.
Flo Collins does it on Monday. If Flo's not available, Kay, RSVP people have been, yeah, they're actually doing their own thing now, Yvonne, and it's a nice core group, about 6, 7 people. So they're the leaders. But Flo does it on Mondays because she's here. And Darlene was going to have the option of doing it on Wednesdays, but obviously if I'm at a meeting, she can't be out of the office. So it's not, I don't think it's going to work to have Darlene involved with it at this time.
Okay.
So.
Now, are you having it twice in a day, or I thought
A
I
week.
saw something?
It has to be
Mondays and
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
at 10 o'clock. Yeah, so,
Are you doing that, Kathy?
yes, but not today.
Except once a month.
Yeah, this is a nice day to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I'm frustrated about the whole attendance thing. You know, I just want things to happen, I want people to come. We had a wonderful speaker. We set up, that same woman from the food bank, Amber, and we ended up with 5 people and 2 of them were staff. And she had excellent information. It was on healthy eating and heart disease, and she had great handouts, etc.
I think you're doing a great job. I mean, for what we used to get, you know,
Well,
so.
thank you.
And I don't know if at a
It's
luncheon
hard.
she can come in and then maybe people know her and come back. I just wonder if
Well,
there's
this
a way
is
to
what I'm trying, and
best
especially
promote.
because she's free. So instead of entertainment, we would have a speaker. I mean, it's just learning, you know, you do it when there's a crowd, and because it's valuable information. We had.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that, and there was some scheduling
Yeah,
thing I had.
and I can't, you know, Janice said, well, just email me and, you know, we'll come, you know, send out a blast, and, but I don't want to rely on, you know, board members and
Well, I don't mean
friends,
to us,
and
yeah, but
but
yeah.
people in general, because people have lives. I mean, they're busy, they're doing their thing, they're going to appointments, they're doing this, that, and that's a wonderful thing.
And we
don't wanna-
forget.
And you do, I was gonna say, you have the best intention and suddenly, what's today?
Yeah.
You know,
was
so
yesterday.
that happens.
And it's not a priority necessarily. So what I want to be here for, the council on aging should be here if we're needed. And if you know, we can offer things, but again, maybe offer it when there's a group here. I'm learning.
You're doing a great
Be the
job.
Pied Piper.
The Pied Piper, that's.
And the outreach seems to be like you're making some, you know,
Yes, we're making some
Steps towards
headways.
that, but I mean,
And it's
don't have an
as
office
needed.
person,
It's one of those things. You don't know when you're going to get a call and what are you going to do. And we're lucky. We have great staff.
And she cooked, right? Was she cooking that time too?
That
This
one
was
she
different.
wasn't. This is
Oh.
different. This is strictly.
Well, the Healthy Bones and Balance has increased. We used to get like 7 or 8 people. We get 15 people now.
and yoga was pretty busy, right?
Oh, yoga, they love, yeah, they love
Well, and
those 2
yoga,
classes
yeah,
are really good.
Yoga has
Yeah.
increased.
And even line dancing.
And you
We
still
had
doing it in the room?
Yesterday was a good group.
Yeah.
She's still doing it at that end? And
Yeah, but we do in the select board meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're
Yeah, 'cause
pretty
that's pretty quiet.
noisy.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy. I think, you know, actually it was 9 months yesterday. If I was having a baby, I'd be delivering.
I have delivered, so.
You know, talking about, has anybody evaluated, because I heard,
On the select
what
board
you're
meeting last night.
saying about,
Yeah, that thing overwhelmed it.
yeah, and he's been here 6 months, and she's been here 9 months, and because I had to count, I said, oh, wait a minute, so we should have some input for the first 3 months, and he can take the next 6 months.
Yes.
It should be a combined effort.
The contract for the town administrator says that he will do a self-evaluation
Yeah.
after 3 months.
Oh.
Usually it's 6 months that people get probationary evaluations. But I just didn't, you know, there's all these little things like doing the speed limit check on, over by Cumberland, we want to reduce that to 30, because right now 40 is ridiculous to fly by.
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
the savings back there. So there's all these things that, you know, we talked about, and I just want to keep a running list of these
Yeah.
things, and one of them was that, and he was like, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like the last thing I'm on this.
Yeah, well, you
I'm
have an
amazed he made it through the
I
assistant.
know, but he
month.
has, you know, thanks to the override, he does have.
Yeah, now he has the funds to
opportunity,
do that.
And he's already submitted the request, so. Just
Well,
to
I
hire
have had
somebody.
him changing light bulbs and cleaning gutters, so I don't know if he told you that.
No, he didn't put. he didn't tell us
Somebody,
about that.
somebody told me that
great job.
he was doing something for you.
Yeah. Oh, and changing toilet paper because we don't have a custodian. He's in hardware, so he knows a lot about hardware.
I mean, that's also been approved, the custodian for the 3 buildings, so I think part of it is just
I hope we find a good person.
I hope they find
Oh, he's wonderful. Is it the one that you're using?
No, we don't know that. Actually, I asked
You have a
Ed
temp?
about it. I have a property tax work-off person, and he did apply. But I asked him about the interviews, et cetera. He goes, that's a personnel question, I can't answer that. And he giggled. This is Ed.
Oh,
He giggled.
okay.
But I just, you know, because I wasn't sure if he was doing the interviews or if the PPB or does.
Well, no,
they wouldn't go
Yeah, they don't,
to
no,
people.
It would be
they're not
the- it would be the
administration,
hiring
they're not
manager.
HR,
Yeah.
so.
But I know he's overwhelmed. If you go to his office, he's overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, part of it is just, you know, getting those positions in place, so he's not doing all the things that you mentioned, and, I mean, I would ordinarily, I suggested sending a welcome letter to any new businesses in town, and I think we have a new auto parts place going down by Big Y, but I don't want to give him anything to do that he'd have to do that an administrative assistant would do.
Welcome that new coffee shop. I hope they're going to be good.
Where's that? Where's that?
Red Rock.
Red Rock,
Yeah.
Plaza.
Can I just ask a question? Have you set specific attendance, or, because you said goals for next year, increase membership and outreach, are there target numbers?
I don't have a target number.
'Cause I think that
have to
helps
look and see where we're at
sometimes.
right
Yeah.
now.
But I've just done like action plans, like, and say by
Right. More
6 months,
specific, yeah.
we'll increase by 5%.
Right.
And I think when you have a target,
Measurable.
or the same thing with the outreach, you know, we will go out once a quarter. You know, I mean, make it reasonable and achievable, but I think having a target makes it more likely that you actually reach it. So that's what I would just suggest.
So, and I
Or
think
even
we
a
should,
progress report that you have each month and you give us and you say, this is where we're at. You know, the different stages, because you can't get things done all in one
Yeah.
short period of time, so it's evolving and it keeps you on, and it also keeps us informed, as well as.
Well, once
and
a
the
month,
like-
we don't want to put her in Ed's position when we have her overwhelmed.
I don't know, I don't feel overwhelmed
I
at
think,
all. Believe me, I don't feel
achievable.
overwhelmed.
The
And
goals is-
I'm,
Yeah.
yes,
But
I
she's
think
doing
that's
it, it's
But
just a matter of.
I think too, that
blending it.
when there was the meet and greet with you, somebody showed up that I know from the Soldiers Home, and she came and ended up coming to one of the programs there. I think that there's a large number of people that are between 60 and 75 that maybe don't see themselves as coming there, but if there was an event that would appeal to them. So if you had, like, I could send an email right now to probably 20 people in town that are between 60 and 75 that don't see themselves as seniors, even though they get the AARP thing. But, I mean, in terms of just increasing and having people have a My Senior Center, if there's any way it helps in terms of grants, in terms of just increasing the numbers, there might be a program that would very much appeal to them, and And then
So
you at
we
least
have-
have their contact information to share the information.
We have a health fair on the Wednesday, June 20th. But again, this is during the week, during the day, so I'm not sure that, some of these people are still working.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if you have the
Yeah,
newsletter,
yeah.
so, but it is, that would be a great one. And I could send you the email or whatever, and you could just send it to 20 people. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, but in terms of signing them up to being sort of my senior center.
Right, and then we could use
Yeah.
that day as, a like you said,
Yeah.
a meet and greet and get people to sign in.
Yeah.
You know, you come to see the center and, you know, see what we have to offer and...
Don't forget there's been a shift, you know, where people
Right.
just kind of went on their own. It was always available, whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
And now it's more geared to programming specific that you want to
Right.
tie and build from that, so.
Right, and I know, like, again, Westfield has a larger center, Northampton has a larger center, and so I know that if they want to have groups, they can go there, but like you said, a specific, have some kind of, well, like Don Humison came and did a talk on the State House and different things that, you know, could be for different people. There's a program I went to, and they talked about virtual travel, and they connected on the computer, on the web, with people from other countries.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible stuff. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of figuring it
Kind
out.
of scary too.
Yeah, it is.
The other thing is, I went to a ribbon cutting not too long ago at Dopafit, which is
Oh, yeah.
the place that's across from the Y, and it was amazing the number of people that go there from, and I met people from Southwick, Longmeadow, like all over the place. And this man started this because his 55-year-old wife died of Parkinson's disease. But I'm just thinking, just in Southampton alone, between the bowling alley, the golf course, like there could be opportunities for little like events at our own town sites where they can either have a little fun fundraiser, putting fundraiser, or it's just something like that. That would be something where we would be supporting our own community and they'd be able to mutually meet
visibility.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dobafit, I think he is coming, he's connected to somebody in the clerk's office, Liz. And they're coming to the
that?
house fair. Dobafit? Yeah, Parkinson's.
It's amazing space.
What do you issue monthly reports on the, my senior center?
I haven't at this point, but I can,
Well,
it's easily
do you have an
enough.
idea of what, you know, what the numbers are by month?
I certainly do, and I could do that at our next meeting.
Yeah,
It might be
good, yeah, that'd be
And
now that
because
we have a
you
tool.
are going to have a diff this summer. Summer is pretty quiet. The staff used to take advantage of those ones to kind of catch up and do housekeeping because you don't have. But I think it's, you know,
We did
there's
add
going to
some
be
trips,
peaks and
but
valleys.
one trip did get canceled, unfortunately, our first trip, our railroad trip got canceled because we only had 33 people instead of 40. So anyway, we have 2 more trips offered to Block Island and to Plymouth, so we're hoping they go.
So I mean, great suggestions, and we can talk, and we talk to Ed, and anybody else, please, you know, any thoughts you have. These are all terrific ideas, and I do agree with goals and measurable, and we'll talk to Ed as well. I don't know who does what anymore, and whether we should set up a contract as a department head, or, so those things we have to talk to him about, so,
I
as
think it
well.
would be helpful for Joan more because, you know, if she's expressing that she'd like to, you know, she is being successful so that if there is a known goal, then, you know, you can check off yourself when you achieve it.
Well,
Yes,
I get
yeah.
the recognition for all that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we
But
know,
I mean,
but
there's a lot of things
it's nice
that
to have it quantified.
happen that, so.
Yeah.
Great, good suggestions. Okay. So I put election of officers here, even though we have another month this year. We can postpone it till next year, or next month. The only reason I put it,
Oh, I'm not coming in July.
well, the only reason I put it here is that July 4th is the first Wednesday of the month, so if the board may decide to not have a meeting in July.
At least 1 month. That's what I said to Highland Valley. Particularly since I've been sick, I just,
Yeah, so if you want to have election of officers today, we can have a motion to do that.
I move we keep them just as they are.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Any discussion?
Do you want to step down? Do you want somebody else to be recording
If anybody wants to be
secretary?
secretary, be my guest.
It's yeah.
That's the
I am
hardest one,
enjoying this break.
If not, I have another
I'm
year.
happy to help, but not, it's a lot.
And we have no board members
Because it
that are
comes up
expiring
so
this year.
quickly, you know, you go and you say you
No,
have a
mine's
month
next year.
to do the minutes, and then before you know it, it's the week before the meeting, and you kind of,
Yeah.
I know the feeling,
Yeah,
So
even-
the best
even
intention.
Verna, the line dance instructor, she's had this position, and she said, "Oh, Lord."
All in favor?
But I will say, I just want to compliment everyone. I can't tell you how helpful these reports are, because when I'm struggling with voices, and I look at the report, and it's right there. So, that's a hint.
A few bullets from Nova. Okay. All right, so all in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Lori.
I can't
What?
vote.
All in favor of the motion to remain?
Aye.
Aye.
Don't lie,
Opposed? I guess we did that already. Okay.
Perfect.
End of year budget, I think we really covered
think
that in
we
the
covered
treasurer's
that, baby.
report, so we're done with that. Okay, just a quick update on the state formula grant. I did talk to Emmett, and he said for budgetary purposes, he said he would be comfortable using $11 per person, which is up from $9.70, and his comment was it's an election year. They put in for 12.
Right, I thought it
So-
was approved.
No, I don't think it's been approved yet.
Oh, so we
So for budgeting, as we submit for the state formula grant, in the next few weeks, we'll use $11 as our per person. So that's a nice jump from $9.70 this year. Also, where did I
But the
get
numbers of seniors are
$11.70?
not going up, right?
Nine
It's
Because
like
the
that.
federal
Yeah, the census is still at 11.
So it's just the same number.
Yeah, even though we're close to 1,800 seniors, we only get paid for 1131, so, till 2020, till the 2020
Right.
census. And there's a training meeting for the State Formula Grant Group in Northampton on June 29th, so I'm going to try to go to that. Joan,
It's a
I'm sorry
Friday.
that-
I
yeah.
can try and go.
It's up to you. I mean, I think you probably could do it in your
But
sleep,
it's
so.
good to know.
But it's a good
No, but it's good to
networking.
know, to share ideas.
Yeah.
And they're great for questions, if you have
That's
any
what
questions.
that's why I'm saying it's good because the people
Interact.
collectively, yeah.
I'm going to the one in Hadley.
There's one in Hadley.
Yeah, there are different locations, but
He
I'm
said
going there because
Pittsfield
we
and
have,
Northampton, I didn't mention Hadley.
yeah.
I sent an email
think
to
it's coming
MCOA
up
just to
soon.
verify everything.
Okay. All right. So just a couple reminders that June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, so I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. And then Joan talked about the Go for Life Family Fun Walk RFP for the September walk, if we can get that. Those are just kind of reminders from me to you and to me. And just some, we were bouncing around because we have kind of a planning meeting with a non-quorum group of the committee here and the executive committee. So we talked about, you know, they're always using CPC funds for the under 20. So we're wondering, you know, is there anything that we want to think about for next year that maybe is there something that we could put at a park that would be more senior or
I did look into
60,
pickleball.
and we looked into,
after
we talked about
it.
pickleball. a
Very
little bit,
cool,
so-
and actually,
It's very popular.
pickleball.
Oh my God.
Truthfully, I didn't know anything about it until last week when we started talking about it, but there are so many places in Massachusetts that do it when I looked online. It's cool, I can send everybody the info on it if that's
Yeah,
easy.
my daughter and daughter-in-law play.
Pickleball is like a combination of tennis,
And
badminton.
Yeah.
It's on a
Small
small
court.
court, it's fenced in court, it's
Just
wiffle
Google
ball.
it and you'll see.
It's everywhere.
It's huge.
So was there a
Heard of
way?
it, yeah.
Westfield
I
has
know,
a
until we
big
started talking about
contingent.
it. So they said, actually, more than a couple websites said that it's really great for older players, for people who have had any kind of like a hip, shoulder, knee injury, because it's not as fast-paced and involved as tennis, and that's why it's really taken off for people of all ages, but specifically in communities where you're looking for activities for seniors.
You have to do it outside, or?
Yeah, so it's
outdoor
smaller than a tennis court, but they said, you know, you need basically 2 poles and a net, so depending on where you're looking for, it was all priced out. You know, there was the range, and I think the paddles are I saw between like $10 and $60, so I'm sure if you want a really nice paddle, then you pay the $60.
Bring your own paddle.
You get your mother-in-law to buy the paddles, that's how it works.
So they said that the playing area is usually 30 by 60 feet if you're converting a tennis court, but 34 by 64 is standard. So I don't know, I mean, I guess we'd have to talk to, if we were going to do something like this at the park, what the
Are there
space would
tennis
look like.
courts at the park?
There are 2 tennis courts, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of info that's out, and it seems like this is, I know they said there's 2 sites in East Hampton that kind of make it happen, and then there were a couple in Franklin County, but out in the Boston area, they're everywhere, like every YMCA, it's all over the place. So we didn't know about it, and then Joan suggested, or somebody brought it up.
Agawam has
has
like
it.
12 courts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
Hampshire
the girls would
College,
play.
and I played at Hampshire College. I got a little instruction on it.
Oh, cool.
The tennis courts don't get that much usage, do they?
They're pretty busy. John and I play. They're
Oh,
pretty busy later in the day.
Yeah, when we go, we
Yeah, I
go in
haven't
the
gone
morning.
in, well, Mark and I used to.
Yeah.
But during the week, early in the morning.
Another thing that is very popular is senior games, and I don't hear that at all in this town. And it may even be this weekend, but from all over Massachusetts, they come to compete in pickleball, in tennis, in race walking, in even hurdles and things. I mean, it's amazing what the seniors, I forget, I know, there's probably 30, and these may be past athletes that have now reached their 50s and 60s. But there are people that are 80, 90, and 100 years old that are walking and running and participating in this. And I have to look into it, but maybe for next year, we could see who the athletes in town are, and maybe we could get some representatives for the state, for the senior games. Because it brings a lot of attention to
What did the Senior
local area.
Olympics?
The Senior Olympics, that's exactly what it is, and it's at Springfield College, the ones
I
I've
don't think I'm up for
participated
it.
in. I have a gold medal, but I was the only contestant. In race walking.
Yeah, just say
In
you're...
what? Race walking.
Good for you.
Wiggle walking. But I'm also a little heavier
So what
than
does
I was then.
everybody think about the pickleball idea?
I like that a lot. I'd love to.
I mean, we'd have to do a little more research. We'd have to,
A site, and it has to
yeah,
be
either
level.
Connick Park or Labrie Field or something. I was thinking like bocce, but Joan said pickleball, so it's more active, but...
It seems very cool. And they said people of all ages are doing it, so it wouldn't be, I mean, obviously we want something specific for seniors, but I'm sure the space would get used.
for more.
I'm just wondering too, with the walking group, I know I've seen in some parks like a bench, and I'm just wondering, I know that Conant Park has some benches that are on the Clark Street side of things. When you're doing the walking, are there places that people want to rest when you're walking, or need to for that matter?
We don't rest, we go straight through.
Just keep going.
Yeah, we do it, so, we do a mile, we go from the center, we go down to the Conant Park, walk up East Street, and back.
What happens if you have someone that can't keep up? You
Well,
set
so
a cap
far,
for them?
everybody's kept up, you know. I'm probably doing because I'm having trouble with my hips. I mean, I'm probably the one that
But they do
struggles
kind of
more.
partner up, the two, you know, the ones that
Right,
go on their own
and we
pace.
kind of, well, some go ahead, but there's, you know, it's, I mean, we haven't stopped, really, you know.
Just wondering with
We do a mile.
us
you know.
doing these safe communities with putting in the sidewalks, I think is there
Yeah.
any place that has town property that might be helpful for a senior if they're able to walk but need a place to rest somewhere along the way, whether it be College Highway, Palmer, or Conant Park. You know, just having
That's
a
a great
bench
idea, yeah.
that says dedicated to the seniors of something like that. But that would be something CPA would also.
Yeah, that might be a thought, because, by the time we get down to
You may want,
pretty well.
in terms of
Yeah.
Well, it's CPC,
somebody
it's
to sit down,
preservation, it's
let
CPA in
people
some
know,
places, it's
you know, they don't
CPC,
have to
but
do
it's
a mile, they
community
can do,
preservation.
try, start slowly, because that's another thing, I mean, I wouldn't. Mark used to, Carrie, we used to go up, we used to walk just to the line. Yeah, he walked all over, but anyway, when I said, I think I'll go. And so we go to the Westfield line and then come back, but then coming up my hill, you know, it was, he would go backwards or, you know, waiting for me, and then I said, honey, can you please hold my hand and drag me up?
And so that's a
it's
good
hard.
idea too, the bench
Benches.
from
That's a great idea.
community preservation. But I mean, I think we need to, you know, as a group, maybe start thinking about how the seniors can take advantage of some of the dollars that are available.
Feel welcome.
Yeah.
And then they have safe havens that if they do need some bathrooms, it would also help too.
Well, we'll have those at LaBrie Field if we put the pickleball there.
That's true, they come together and it would be a handicap accessible one, because if you only have one bathroom, right now, it has to be handicap accessible. so.
Yeah, I don't know if people up for a little more of a challenge, and it would be that, but at the top of Center Street, on High Street, there are 2 benches. And they were suggested by, and probably paid for by, the Hendricks, whose house is right next door to the church. Pardon?
Maxine Hendricks?
No.
Oh,
Is it Bob Hendrick? Ted's brother.
oh, okay.
Older
Yeah,
brother.
they're the same family.
It's such a pretty view from up there anyway.
And he and his wife initially were walking, and they'd come up High Street and go down Maple and do that loop, and High Street's pretty
Yeah, you
steep.
definitely need a place to sit down after you walk, I think.
But,
And you can use Josie's restroom. Just kidding.
Put a little
It's used by-
sled, they go sledding on that.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
the
so
sledding hill.
that's, yeah.
But he had put out the suggestion, and and he said he'd pay for the bench. But the town, and this is while Ed Colley was still,
You put it in.
and he, they put it in. They put one right on the corner and one kind of in the center of the hill, well, the top. And people really take advantage of that. It's
Yeah, I wonder with the walking group if you can have like a beginners and intermediate or something so
Yeah,
that you
well, that's
can
what I just
kind
said
of-
to Joan, those
Okay.
people that would know how long, you know, that
Right.
they could be encouraged to start slowly and build up.
Right.
And move
Because
from
I
that
would
to the
not make
next level.
even half a mile at this point.
All right, so do we hear a motion to schedule the next meeting? Or
Are we skipping
Are we
July?
gonna, do we have a motion to skip July's meeting?
Well,
for July
suggestion.
4th?
well, let's make it a motion. How about
I just want to let you know.
It is July 4th. It's either July or August, so whatever, you know, so if it's July, if we have a meeting in July, then we have to have, we'll probably have the following week since it's 4th of July. Otherwise,
Yeah, it'd
we'll
have to be the
skip off.
11th.
So it's whatever, we have a motion to either skip one of July or August.
Any preference?
Skip July,
Okay.
but I don't get to vote.
You don't get to vote. So somebody making a motion to forego our July meeting?
When's the August one?
August 1st.
August 1st.
Because I'm dealing with the foundation, the second week. But that's all right, that's the second week in August. That's a weekend.
Was there a motion?
I'll make the motion to schedule our next meeting for August 1st.
Do you have a second?
And just-
What?
Okay, and just as a, to let you know, if there's one of our little planning meetings ahead, I won't be available in
The last week in July, the 26th. So maybe you'll be available
Well,
Monday or
because it's
Tuesday,
a
the
2-month
30th.
gap, maybe we'll have it sooner than that then.
Okay.
I think I'm awake.
9:30 again?
9:30 again. So we have a second for the August meeting, all in favor? Okay.
I have just two quick announcements. The newsletter is only going to have one summer issue, so it'll be a July-August issue with 2 calendars.
Okay.
Also, I notified some of the board that on the 4th of September, there's a primary election, so the senior center will be closed. It's the day after the holiday. That means I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days off.
For you.
Not coming in for half a day? No. It's all day
It's
election.
8 to 8, it's an all-day election. And then also on November 6th was the regular election, the senior center will be closed. And my assumption is that our staff will not get paid, we're not working, we don't get paid, so that'll help with the budget. And if we had to make it up an hour here or there, whether there's a responsibility for reports or newsletter, we can talk about that.
A motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Second, all in favor?
Wow.
Do you want your business card?
I know.
For some reason, my
Yes.
email bounced back.
I know we're out of
That-
meeting.
maybe
John, I
missed
need
that.
you to sign this for July 1st.
Okay.
It's,
Anybody?
It's on the very bottom of your
One
legal pad.
second,
or-
1 second,
Do we have to,
Notepad.
wait, let me turn off.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I went back to the original one.
Okay.